Hi, my name is still Nadine, and today we are doing Warframe damage calculations. And how to reach almost 2 million damage with one single shot. Yep, you heard me, not 2,000, not 200,000. 2 million! Yes! Wow! So, all of this seems very confusing, and I will walk you through that step by step. We will start with an easier table, if I manage to change it. There we go. Okay, let's assume we have this Sniper Vandal. We shoot a Granier boss or a Granier Lancer, if they have the same hitbox, in the head, while the sonar of Banshee is on the head of this particular enemy. Now, we have applied Survitation, Charge Chamber, Prime Chamber, the Ice Elemental mod, the Armor Piercing mod, both fire mods, and an electrical mod. And that's our mod setup. So let's go through the calculations. We have 125 base damage. It's 100% damage. We get an additional 165 damage from Survitation. We get 40% more damage from Charge Chamber and 100% damage from Prime Chamber. This adds up to be 405% base damage and should be 506 damage. Yeah? But the Snipertron Vandal deals armor piercing damage, which gives us a 1.5 multiplier on Granier enemies. This means we get a 608% base damage, which adds up to be 759. Now, we have to calculate the elemental mods. They are calculated separated. The way they work is you take the 90%, 0.9, times the 759, and you end up having for the ice mod 783. Now there's a multiplier for each elemental mod, and that's defined by the enemy type you hit. Yeah? Each enemy has different weaknesses to elemental mods. And for the ice mods, we don't have one, it's just the normal ice damage. However, for the armor piercing damage, it's 1.5. So even though we only get 60% damage, additional damage from the armor piercing mod, which would be 455, we get a 1.5 multiplier and end up having the same value. Now our two fire mods together have 1100 damage with a 1.25 multiplier, and we end up having 1400 damage from the fire mods. And the same thing with electrical damage, so we end up having 854. Now this adds up, all these four plus the base damage, to 4400, but we're not done yet, because there's also the body part multiplier of enemies. And the body part multiplier for Granier Lancer is 2 if you shoot him in the head, which we assumed. So we end up having 8800 base damage. That's just the shot itself. Without crit, without crit. That's just the normal damage. Now, the trick we came up with. Rhino Roar, using Volt Shield, using Nova Molecular Prime, and Banshee's Sonar. Those all stacked in a very certain way. Let's walk you through this. Rhino Roar gives everyone in every Warframe's radius a 50% damage buff, which means we get an additional 4404 damage, ending up with 13,200 damage. Then the bullet passes the Volt Shield, which also applies a 50% bonus damage, which is electrical type. That means we get a 50% bonus damage, but with the multiplier for electrical damage, which is 1.25, which gives us an additional 8,200 damage, and we end up with 21.4k damage. Now, Molecular Prime has the neat ability, if you hit a prime target, it receives double damage from your shot. That means we get an additional 21,000 and we end up with having almost 43k damage. But that's not the end of it. The best for the last. The best ability in the game for if it comes to damage buff is Benji's Sonar. As I said before, we assume that the Sonar is on the head, the very point we are hitting, and it gives us a whopping 400 bonus damage, 400% bonus damage. So we end up with 214k. Well, that's not the end of it, because if you apply focus, it actually buffs this bonus damage, and you have a 520% bonus damage instead of 400%. So you end up having 266k. Now, there are, in the engine, there are certain points where the decimals get cut off, and I think about 8 times or something, and actually the engine runs down. So you end up with less damage, and you might just have 212k or 213k, or something in between those 213k and 266k. This is still enough to kill everything you will ever encounter in this game, but we are not done yet. We could even do way more damage. That's what I will show you now. Different setup, different enemy. We are still using the Snipertron Vandal, but this time we assume the Banshee Sonar is still on the head, but of a Corpus Crewman. Also, we have multi-shot, and we assume both of the multi-shot bullets crit. And I will talk to you about the likeliness, the probability of this later on. I did the probability math for these two. So it's realistic, believe me. Our mod setup changed. We got rid of charged chamber, we got rid of primed chamber, we got rid of one of the fire damage mods, which is wildfire. So we still have 90%, but the 60% are missing. We added 2 crit damage mods and the multi-shot mod instead. So we end up having way less base damage because those 2 base damage multipliers are not there anymore. But Corpus Crewman received 2 times damage from armor piercing. So we end up having 662 damage for our base before elemental. Then we have the different weaknesses to elemental mods for Corpus Crewman on the head. And they add up with the base damage, the 4 elemental mods with the base damage add up to 3,800. That's actually way less than, not way less, but a bit less than we had with all the other base damage mods. But the other base damages mod in the previous table were just on the first shot. Keep that in mind. This is for every shot. So yeah, that's that. Now you can see this very strange multiplier of 16.8, and you would say, oh, that's not true. And you're wrong. We have, the way this is calculated is 2 times multiplier for the head, a 2-time multiplier for the multi-shot because we fire 2 bullets, and the crit damage multiplier, which is applied 2 times for both bullets once. So our base crit damage is 150%. Our mod crit damage gives us another 180% because we have 2 crit mods applied. That's Hammerhead Shot and Vital Sense. Our final crit damage increase is therefore 420%, together with multi-shot and the 2 times multiplier for the head. We end up having 64.5k damage. This is actually a rather realistic value because people were getting 40k crits already. With the, I think with the Paris Prime they got like 30k, 37k, and with the Sniper level, which has a way higher base damage, it's actually very realistic. We got this 64k, 65k. Yeah. So we do the same math with the abilities again. We add Rhino's Roar, pass the Vault Shield, get double damage from Molecule Prime, and hit the Sona spot with the focus applied. So we simply end on 1.9 million damage. That's good. That's really good if you ask me. Okay, with rounding errors we might have 1.5 million, but between 1.5 and 1.9 million, that doesn't matter anymore. You won't ever find an enemy with health like that. Because all of that is armor ignore, don't forget that. That's armor piercing damage. Anyway, the likeliness of this event is really bad. You can see we have a crit chance of 0.2. We don't have a crit chance mod applied. So our final crit chance is 0.2. Our multi-shot is 0.9. It's 90% chance to actually get a multi-shot. So the likeliness of getting a multi-shot and a crit on both of the bullets is 3.6%. That's not very good. Also, if we say sonar should be on the head and we take that into account into the probability chart, we only end up with a 0.5% likeliness for this event ever to happen. Now we can say we just shoot those that actually have the sonar in the head, then we would have those 4%, almost 4%, but it's still not good. So to increase our chance to actually get close to 1.5 million or over it, let's say we have a crit chance mod applied. In exchange, we get rid of our fire mod. You can see that we instantly get a 22.5% chance now. That means if we shoot 5 Corpus crewmen that have the sonar on the head, we will get at least, probably we will get one of them will receive a 1.6 million damage. No Corpus crewman will ever be able to tank that. So he might say, yeah, if we wanna try this, we would actually need an enemy that can tank this amount of damage. We would have to go very high in endless defense, and we can't do that with this setup. So let's say we don't have a vault, or we just don't shoot through the vault shield. So vault does not give us extra damage. We would still have between 800,000 and 1 million damage in 1 of 5 cases, which is, in my opinion, pretty good. Pretty good. Considering we do not hit sonar, we would just have 163k, but that's still very good. So only with Rhino Roar and Nova Molecular Prime, we should hit 163k damage, which is pretty easy to do. In 1 of 5 times, that is. Yeah? In 1 of 5 times, we hit 163k damage. That should be enough to finish off every enemy in the game so far, if you don't go insanely high in endless defense. Well, yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions, or you think my math is off, or I might have done something wrong or anything like that, please tell me, comment on the channel, or just send me a PM on YouTube, and I will thank you for watching, and bye! Hold on, wait, just one more thing, little shout out to the Procrastinators clan. We have been place number 1. We are place number 1 Shadow Clan in the previous event, a crit fear, and yeah, we really grinded that. It went very hard. It was very tiresome. I personally landed on place 18, and one of our clan members actually managed to be place 16, so shout out to Diabolic for that. And I'm really proud of what the clan achieved there, because many of the members never grinded and went that hard ever before. So this is really a great achievement for all of us. And also, if you're interested in Warframe and damage builds, crit builds, weapon builds in general, and you want to see more of that, I have a few links for you in my description for this video, where you will be redirected to various different YouTube channels. All of those are clan members, and they are really good. They really know what they are talking about, and they do build videos like weekly, sometimes even daily, and you should really check them out. Okay, that's it for me for real this time. Thank you for watching, and if you like it, subscribe or whatever, or at least like it, or do a comment. I don't know. Bye.